Okay, I'm so excited to introduce to you our next Limitless speaker. Bijal Patel is the CEO and founder of Launch, and I will tell you the reason why I wanted her to speak at Limitless, to be part of this conversation in this movement, is she's amazing at what she does. First of all, total powerhouse, but she blends together, practical and spiritual and mindset in such a beautiful way that I just find really inspirational and fun to follow along with a little bit of let me tell you how it really is. And I just love your style so much. So I'm excited to hear. Let's start with just give us a quick kind of introduction to who you are and what you do.
I love that. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Ryan. I'm excited about Limitless. I think more events like this need to be happening. And I'm so excited for us to be collaborating to get a really, really high quality product out for people. It's going to transform people's lives. So let's start there. I'm excited. I am pumped. So what I do, basically, let's simplify branding. Let's start with what it's not, and that this will be easier. So branding is not just your logos and your colors and your fonts and your mood boards, okay? It's not just that. That is a subset of branding that is your visual branding, your visual assets. Think of that as 10% of what's important, almost like inner and outer beauty, okay? It's not be happy with the way you look on the outside, but really 90% of it is from the inside. So you think of that brand strategy is defining what is this three-dimensional fictitious brand. Imagine this brand was a person. What would they sound like? What would they talk like? What would they feel like? What would their energy be? What would their beliefs be? What is their messaging? Just like how Ryan introduced me. All right, she's got a little bit of a just tell it like it is, right? Persona. So she's giving you a shape of my character. So that's what branding is. It's packaging up who you really are and who your business really is in a manner, a method, including precise messaging and positioning that hits home with your exact audience. That's essentially what branding is.
So good. So fun. And you do it beautifully in your brand. And I've seen the really cool things that you do. So why branding? Why are you so passionate about that? Because again, watching you, it's really about helping people bring their story to life in a meaningful way. Where did that passion come from for you?
It's really interesting. I feel before this, let's start before this and let's tie in the concept of being limitless. So I did commercial interior design for 13 years prior to this. So I actually really don't have any certifications. I don't have a degree in branding, which would be considered marketing or graphic design. I have none of that. None of those kind of things I would consider, you might say for me to be reputable, I'm going to need it. No, you don't. False. But let me take you back. So for 13 years, I did commercial interior design, and it was an enormous passion of mine. I'm in my custom home right now, proof in the pudding, So I would do big hotels, big corporate offices, Fortune 500 companies, startups, all of the things. I've worked for companies that you know of, like Bank of America, Johnson & Johnson, Heinz, these big names. And then I've done a lot of smaller companies too. Mm-hmm. And after 13 years, COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And the writing was on the wall. Truth be told, I started my own company after I got fired from my well-paying corporate job because I had my second kid and I was nursing him. And they were like, Bijal, you kind of changed. I was like, I'm nursing a baby, so I can't meet you downtown at the Class A office building at 7 p.m. I have literally have a baby. So they didn't love that. And I just love sharing that with people because I'm I am where you were at, where corporate America sort of used and abused me, and I got thrown into this. And so I started my own company, and I decided I was going to do interior design my way or the highway, and I'm going to make it all about employing moms and creating a remote and flexible culture. And I would do all that. And oddly enough, hit six figures, not oddly enough, but I was really proud that I hit six figures my first year doing my own business. And I was like, girl, you got it going on. And then COVID hit. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And when I looked in the mirror and I was honest with myself through a series of conversations with another woman who I met in a mastermind coaching group, she asked me, are you still passionate about interior design, or are you just white knuckling that dream? And I was like, I literally turned red. I was so angry because I was like, first of all, white knuckling. And actually what I learned through that, and she's a great coach, She's like, well, I'm just curious because that triggered you. So like, what's underneath that? And I'm like, stop doing this to me. I'm an interior designer. Why are you doing this weird mind stuff? So I thought about it. I waited an evening and I messaged her and I said, I think you're onto something. She's like, why don't you just try branding for 3 months? You've been doing it online while you're waiting for interior design to work online. And what if you just did it for 3 months? You already said no one's going to do commercial interior design during COVID for 3 months. You're not going to hurt anything. Why don't you just give it a shot? I agreed. I decided to give it a shot. And in those 90 days, I got real with myself and it just kind of happened. It wasn't a special moment. It just slowly happened where I was like, is it okay to have a new dream? Like, did I complete that passion? And I have no regrets whatsoever. I've won multiple design awards. I still have a fetish for design, but is it okay for me to have a new dream? Mm-hmm. And I didn't, and I'm getting goosebumps all over my legs and I never turned back. So that's how we got to branding.
So good. I love that. Is it okay to have a new dream? Because I think that happens to so many of us, like we get on the path and then it was totally my story in leaving corporate America. I had the dream job in the corner office and I looked up and I was like, this is not my dream anymore. And I've been working for it for so long that I don't even know what another dream would be.
Yeah.
So I really, really love that. So where does your heart for, kind of I hear you and I see you pull in, the spiritual and the mindset and really, really owning your power as a human. How did that become part of the launch brand?
That's a great tie-in is when I accepted myself, just like your story. And that's why you and I clicked immediately. Yeah. I was like, I know exactly what you mean, because when you're fed the dream and then you achieve the dream and then you look around one day and you're like, why do I feel so empty? Why am I not fulfilled? Like people say this is good. People say I'm doing really well. People were kind of jealous of this and they would kill for this, but how come I'm not actually fulfilled? And the part about branding that sets me off and sets me on fire is that it's my job. It's my mission to extract your mission out of you and package it up in a way that the market will receive it, send you off like as if I could pack up jet fuel in a backpack with you, like I would just set you off to the moon. Like that's my entire job. So I love that because it stays true to who I am as a person. When I started interior design back in 2003, my 2 passions, I said throughout my entire interior design career, are 2 things: design, which is obvious. What designer doesn't love design? Second thing, people. So branding is the perfect merriment of people and design. So to be able to work with people like you, Ryan, to work with entrepreneurs, to work with solid, really powerful women who are extremely smart. We tend to have more imposter syndrome, straight up. I work with men and women, by the way. Sure. Actually, I work with a little bit more. I have slightly more men as clients, male clients. It's just odd. But women tend to have so much more imposter syndrome because we're waiting for someone to validate that we've arrived. Whereas men are a little more like bull in the china shop, like, right. They sold one thing once for $2.99 and suddenly they're Elon Musk. And you're like, bruh, I need you to calm down a bit. So I need you. And then women, on the other hand, will be like, I don't know. I just did a 200K launch and I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm worthy. I hope I didn't deceive anyone. You're like, girl, you got it going on. And so people know what they're doing. So being able to empower women and people at large to say, own it, be who you are. The only way that we can win in business is, I learned this the hard way. I sucked at the spiritual side. Honestly, it's still an area of growth for me. I do not try to present that I am not an Instagram girl who is perfect and has going on. I am broken. I have problems. Like I'm trying to figure out my health journey, like nothing is perfect, but we need health. We need spirituality. Yes, we need the mentality. We need the emotionality. We need our relations to be in check. And then also, yes, we need a financial side too that is going to propagate us up.
So good. I really love that because I've noticed that more and more coming in people who have, you know, achieved a certain level of success, and you can tell they had to dig around and be like, okay, why does this not feel different than I thought that it would? And it's kind of fun to watch that come across in people's marketing. There's several people I've seen do that. And again, you do it really beautifully. Something else I really love about you that I'd like you to speak to for just a minute, because you and your husband just recently went on a retreat, and you've been really invested in, you know, your marriage and all of those things. Talk a little bit about how working on the personal stuff. You said your health journey, right? Your marriage, you know, you have, you know, small kids. How has investing in those things made you better at work?
I think it's everything. I used to think that you had to get better at work first and everything else would fall into line. But after being in so many rooms with people who are way smarter than I am, honestly, learning the hard way, reading the books, listening to the podcast, being in the room, like, and that's what I love about your movement, Ryan, is it's really simple. And yet people avoid the thing that's really simple. Just get in the room, be in the room, be a part of Limitless. Like you need to do this, and you're not going to know why till 3 months later. Okay. Be in the room. The energy is contagious. It's like osmosis. But I learned it the hard way is when I tried to do the business first, I was just grinding it out and hustling it all the time on one end. Or then you got the land of Instagram where you've got these manifesting women with the white hearts everywhere. And I don't prescribe to that either, because I'm like, I know a lot of people who end up broke writing themselves $50,000 checks with a bunch of white hearts. Girl, that's not going to get it either. So we kind of need a balance. We need that flow. And learning through those mentors, having mentors that I have paid to be in the room with and be around, they taught us that everything comes from, you know, one of my favorite mentors I just learned from, Bobby Castro and Sophie Castro. They had $1 billion exit in their company. They have upwards of $500 million of net worth, like bonker dollars. You know what? Totally normal human beings, married for 32 years. And they taught us to say, you got to put your life partner first. And they call it life partner for a reason. They don't call it husband and wife because there's only one. This is your life partner. You make that work, you make that your focus, and everything waterfalls on top of that. So really, I learned, Ryan, through making all of the mistakes. And again, here, just because I'm at this station in life, I still continue to make mistakes. And I try to make sure I'm radically vulnerable in my posts so no one thinks you're experiencing a highlight reel of my life. So literally, if I can do it and I continue to make mistakes, well, come along for the ride. Why don't we do it together?
Yes. So good. And your vulnerability is so appreciated. And that, again, that was one of the reasons why I love the word limitless, and why we named the event Limitless, because it brings up all of that stuff for us, right? Sometimes we feel a little vulnerable when you say that word. So I'd love to, as we kind of wrap this up, Bijal, tell me, what does limitless mean to you?
Limitless means that you fully own who you were meant to be on this planet. I believe each soul has a fierce purpose, and it will nag at you. It will claw at you. It will whisper at you at night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 1 p.m. It will come around and it will just talk to you, and it'll nudge and it'll tap and it will tell you, girl, are you showing up fully and owning your 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 version of who you're meant to be, or are you playing small? And it will not stop nagging you. And what I love about Limitless is it's saying, let's unshackle ourselves. Let's push open the glass boxes that we're in, because we are like a frog in boiling water, and we are allowed to get out. And not only allowed to get out, we must get out. Other people are depending on us. Our children are watching us. Our other girlfriends are watching us. Other men are watching us. Society needs strong, empowered women to fully own who we are, so we can make this world a better place. And that might sound cheesy, and I will own it every single day of the week. So
yes. So good. I love it. Love it. Love it. Where can, if people are really excited to spend some time with you before they get to meet you in person at Limitless, where can they come hang out with you?
Go to our website. We have www.welaunch.design. All my socials are on there. We have a free Facebook group. Hop up in there. Make sure you fill out the application. Gotta follow the rules. Come in there, or find me on my Facebook personal profile and hit follow. It's just Bijal, BIJAL .launch. That's my handle. So you can find me on there too. And awesome. Yeah, I'd love to get to meet you, some of you guys, and get it all riled up for Limitless. It'd be awesome.
So good. Well, Bijal, thank you for your time, for sharing your heart and your vision. And we cannot wait to spend time with you in April.
So excited.